Story of how you ended up incarcerated.
Wow. We only got about 45 minutes, so I'll try to do a short, sweet, although I could go into a whole diatribe, right? But the number one thing is how I ended up incarcerated. I ended up incarcerated because I got off the path that I should have been on, right? And the path that I should have been on is, of course, abide by the rules and regulations that were being, or at least trying to be enforced in my household, right? By my parent, because I grew up between a dual parent household, right? But also at the same time, I had teachers who would also try to, put forth that energy and try to say, hey, listen, this is the road that you don't want to travel. This is the road you should travel to your academics more serious and stay in school and da-da-da-da. I say all that to say I stepped outside of the realm of what I should have been traditionally doing as a kid, right, and try to step into an adult world. And in doing so, I got myself into adult troubles and it ended up breaking the law. And of course, the penalty for breaking the law is you have to be judged and penalized. I was judged and penalized for breaking the law, and it ultimately landed me in a place that I don't want to be for the past 21 years.
Okay. How has your perception of the criminal justice system changed since you've been incarcerated?
How has it changed? I don't really think I so much had a perception of the criminal justice system out there breaking the law, running around, right, in the delusional mind state that I was in as a kid going into early adulthood. I have an understanding of the criminal justice system now, right? I believe we should have a criminal justice system because when the laws and the rules and regulations of society are broken, someone has to be there to uphold them, right? So I'm not like outlaw Josie Wells, Billy the Kid. On to live a lawless lifestyle and frick the law. And no, we need rules, we need regulations in order to have a just and fair and level society in which we live in, right? So we have a justice system for a reason. I'm not mad at anyone or angry at the justice system. It stands for a reason, right? Could there be some things that can change in our justice system to make it a lot more proactive instead of reactive? It could make it a lot more Department of Corrections versus Department of Penalization, so that way we can try to end death by incarceration and things like that. So there's a lot of things that could be changed in this system, but the system has to stand because without lawlessness, we have chaos.
All right. In what ways have you felt that race has impacted your experiences with law enforcement or in the prison system?
Wow. Race, sad to say, people can say all they want. It's not a race thing. That doesn't exist here today when we could just turn our TVs on or just bother and start communities or local shopping centers and you'll see race playing out every day. Race played a major role in my interactions with law enforcement, right, in my society, in my community, in outside community. My race or people judging me for my race, it didn't make me commit a crime. I'm ultimately responsible for the crime decisions that I made. But would my penalization have been a lot lighter had I been of the more fairer race or skinned complexion of individual 100%? And same goes for the DOC, right? You have a lot of people who judge people based off how they were raised and how they were taught. So that doesn't just stop because we're in prison, right? Prison guards that come in and control and basically have to, keep watch over people who are incarcerated, right? They're human beings too. So they have a job to do first and foremost, but they're also coming in with a false perception. And sometimes that false perception can make for a bad workplace and living environment for staff and inmate alike, right? So that bridge needs to be act. But race plays a lot in everything that we do. And anyone who said otherwise, I think they're kind of under a rock or just don't want to admit it.
Yeah. What is one thing you wish people on the outside understood about life behind bars?
What is it that I wish people would understand? What I wish that people would understand is that it's not the Department of Corrections, right? And it has nothing to do with officers who come in every day to earn a living to feed their family. It has nothing to do with the immediate higher-ups that you see around here on a day-to-day basis because they're dealing with what they were handed. But what a lot of people don't understand in the free world is that a lot of interaction and when I'm by interaction, positive interaction and actual educating and teaching and learning and correcting isn't really taking place. And that's the part of the system that I'm saying that could use some work, right? There shouldn't be a standoff other than professional. It shouldn't be a standoff between inmate and officer, or inmate and deputy superintendent, or superintendent, or counselor, or unit manager. It should be a standoff. It should be a lot more cohesive.
What is the hardest part of being away from family, and have you stayed connected with loved ones?
Wow. Okay, so the hardest part of being away from family is actually being away from family, right? And knowing that you're in a place that when something go wrong, especially if you're a fixer type, right? You're the type of individual who always been like a fixer within your family, or someone that your family could come to with a problem. That's like, that kills you, right? You know what I'm saying? Like emotionally, mentally, but also at the same time, it really doesn't promote togetherness and unity. The family has to have that togetherness and unity, or just built in them, and have that resilience that regardless of how far you go, how much water and ocean is between you, or, a road or what have you, they're going to get on that road and see you. They're going to pick that phone when you call. They're going to set up the visits when you need visits up. That ultimately falls back on the family unit. If you come from a broken family unit, then 9 times out of 10, being this far away won't help. It'll just strain it worse. And that's just what's been happening, with a lot of young men from urban areas, young women from urban areas. You feel me? They come from already broken homes. So this home breaks it even more.
Do you believe the prison system is rehabilitative, or do you think it mainly punishes people, and why?
Well, all right. So like I said, it's the DOC, Department of Corrections. So it should be there to correct the errors of the ways of individuals, right? But once again, the misconception in society is that the correcting of the ways is being corrected. But when you hire a correctional officer, which is the title, they're here for care, custody, and control, not so much as correcting. You see what I'm saying? And they come do the best job in which they can with the skills and tools that they're given. So it doesn't fall back on correctional officers. It falls back on the people who are hiring them and lowering the bar standard and qualifications that they must have, or responsibilities and duties that they may have or should have, right? So then when you're thinking of DOC, Department of Corrections, you think that somewhere along the line some correcting is taking place. So there's programs that's offered and allowed, right? Academic programs, right? Educational programs, but then there's treatment programs that's also offered. And once again, if you're not putting forth that effort and you're not showing up, there's not much correcting that's taking place. So a lot of us call it the DOP, Department of Penalization, because it seems as if just penalization is being doled out and handed out, and there's no real correcting taking place unless you really want it and you dig deep within yourself. You kind of up a creek.
What are your hopes for the future, both personally and in terms of reforming the justice system?
Personally, I want to reunite with my family, my loved ones, surround myself around people who love me and that I do love. And I just can't wait for that moment in time to take place, get around some more familiar settings and surroundings and people. What are my hopes for reform, right? I intend to do my part, right? Because it's an old saying, sounds cliche, but you have to be the change that you want to see. So you can't want and not give. So my goal and intentions are, once re-entering back into society, it's to basically give as much as I can to the youth, to the ones who are coming behind me, age-wise, from my community, who could potentially find themselves here. I would like to do outreach and reach out to them, right, to deter the youth. Stay in school, You define what's cool for you. Don't let society and others define what's cool for you, because you'll find yourself in a bad position. Prison reform, how I feel about that, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I'll do my part in regards to that, recommending workshops and programs and changes and things of such of the nature. And it would have to fall on the ears of our governor, because ultimately our governor is responsible for the jails, the prisons, and DOC, probation, parole. It all falls back to the governor. Anything that is passed down from the governor legislative wise, will then be put into effect.
All right. If you could change one thing about how the system treats Black men, what would it be and why?
If I could change one thing, the one thing that I would change is don't judge a person by the color of their skin. Don't judge a person by their outer appearance, period. Right? Judge a person based off their merits and their actions and how they treat you and how you then in turn treat them.
I want to say thank you for joining me today for this interview. I really appreciate your honesty. Well, do you have any final words?
Oh man, be the change you want to see, right? So whether it be on a local level, get out there and vote. Whether it be on a higher level, get out there and you vote. You know, you have the power to change the direction and the course of your community. You have the power to change the direction and course of your own life. Take control, get behind the wheel. Don't stay in the passenger seat and be a passenger seat driver or a backseat driver because no one likes that type.
All righty. Thank you so much.